How much time are you spending in skill development? What is going on, guys? My name is Chris Elliott with the Elliott Real Estate Team based out of Richmond, Virginia. Coming to you live with kind of a raw, real show from Ashburn, Virginia. We're up here at a class, Keller Williams Career Visioning. Amazing class so far about how to hire and recruit talent, right? Because we want talent in our lives to get leverage. But I'm not with my normal setup, so that's why this is just kind of a vertical video. Anyway, let's get into it. So, disclaimer, if you are comfortable being average, if you are not looking for a big business, a big life, this is not the video for you. Go back to scrolling Facebook, go back to scrolling Instagram, TikTok, Netflix, whatever, right? And that goes for all my content, by the way. If you're cool being average, like this is not for you, we're not for you. Just move on. Love you all the same. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about skill development, right? So developing our skills. So I would submit to you, there's two factors, the two predominant factors that equate your success in this business is the amount of action that you take doing the right things. So calls, reach outs, appointments, text messages, DMs, open houses, like doing all of the things that we need to do, lead gen, appointment conduction, doing the things, right? There's a certain amount of action that we need to take to create success. And the second key component in there is the skill level in which you bring to those actions. So that is your leverage. So for example, if two agents are making phone calls and one is more skilled at that phone call, they might be able to get, let's say, a 20% conversion ratio on 100 phone calls and book 20 appointments, whereas the less skilled agent might be able to book one appointment from making the same amount of phone calls. Now, here's the cool thing is, even if your skills suck, you can make it up with effort because there's no cap on how much action that you could take. I mean, you could literally make 1,000 phone calls, right? We have new agents on our team make 1,200 phone calls in their first 2.5 weeks. And even though they suck because it's a new skill that they don't have, it's a new thing that they don't have skill at yet, they're able to produce better results than the person that's got all the skill in the world, but is simply not taking action or taking enough action. But anyway, get off of that. So two factors, action and skill. Today, we're going to be talking about skill. So the first thing I would ask you is, what is your E to E ratio? So E to E ratio is, what is your entertainment versus education ratio, right? There's nothing wrong with entertainment, but if all you are doing all day long is consuming entertainment and you're not consuming education, I would submit to you, you're probably not going to end up living a big life. You're probably not going to end up getting where you want to go or fulfilling your ambitions if all you're doing is consuming entertainment. That is the equivalent of all you do all day long is drink soda, eat junk food and ice cream. Like, it's cool every now and again. It's not wrong to have a little bit of that in your life. But if that's all you ever do, if that's all you ever consume, I think you know what your body's going to look like, what your energy levels are going to look like, right? So E to E ratio, let's factor on that first. And I would submit to you, you always want your education to outweigh the amount of entertainment you have in your life. Now, we do have to be careful with education that we are not tricking ourselves into, listening to quote unquote educational stuff that ends up just being entertainment, right? It just tickles our ear. It doesn't really help us move forward. It's just, I think there's a certain element of entertainment that is useful in any education, right? Like if you're listening to a speaker or a trainer and there's not a joke in there every now and again, or there's not some form of entertainment, then it's probably going to be pretty dull. But at the end of the day, we got to be careful that we're not consuming educational content that at the end of the day really isn't helping us move forward. It just kind of tickles our ear. So part of that too is I heard somebody say, I think it was Darren Hardy, that said, we want to be skill developing just in time versus just in case. So what is just in time? Just in time means you are working on the skill that is literally like the bottleneck in your business right now, or is the next bottleneck that you're probably going to encounter. So it's like right around the corner. And that's the next skill that you need to level up your business, level up your life, where you're currently at right now, where you're going to be in a very short time. If you don't know what you need to be working on, this is where a coach, this is where a mentor comes in, because they can say, hey, you're rocking right here, but just so you know, you're going to need some admin support pretty soon. Or, hey, you're a rock star booking appointments, but we need to work on appointment conduction, right? Or hey, you're conducting all those appointments, but you're not signing agreements. So we need to work on our closing. We need to work on our presentation. So working on the thing that's either going to unlock the next level of success right now, or is the kind of the next logical step in the path, versus listening to stuff that like is not relevant to you right now, right? So if you're just starting to build your real estate business, we probably don't need to be listening to podcasts or taking training on like how to build a team or you know, how to start a brokerage. Like, and I get sucked in this too of like, it's kind of fascinating. Or like I listen to like, you know, private equity guys talking about buying portions of businesses. Well, the reality is like, I'm not there yet. So it's kind of pointless for me to listen to this because yeah, it's fun, but it's kind of falling into the education category of like, it's just tickling my ear. And by the time that it becomes relevant in my life, there's a good chance I'm going to forget everything that I'm spending time learning right now because, you know, it's not relevant. I'm not able to apply it. And if we're able to apply stuff immediately, we end up learning it better, right? So just in time versus just in case. And last but not least on this point, action must be taken for education and skill development to become relevant. So if you learn all the best stuff in the world, but you don't take action, you don't implement it, you don't change something in how you do things, then the reality is like it was an absolute waste of time, effort, and money, right? And I've fallen in that category way too many times. You go to conferences, you learn all this amazing stuff, you write it in a huge booklet, you got all these ideas, and you step back into the whirlwind of life. And 2 weeks later, you realize like, oh shit, I haven't even looked at those notes, no less implemented stuff, right? So you got to have some sort of cadence, some sort of habit of how do I actually implement stuff once I learn it. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But guys, hope that helped you think about your skill development. Once again, 2 factors to success, actions and skills, right? And the cool thing is we can influence both. E to E ratio. So you always want your education to outweigh your entertainment, and be careful that your education is not just entertainment disguised as education. Just in time versus just in case. At the end of the day, action must always be taken for education to and skill development to become relevant.